the wonderful and ultimate cassava pone. Cassava pone is a delicacy in the Caribbean. It's made in many islands, and there's so many different ways to make it. I published a video a few days ago for cassava pone, and I got some DMs that said, "Could you do it a little simpler? Isn't there a simpler way that to do it, maybe with less ingredients and stuff like that?" So I decided to do a tutorial on a simple and delicious recipe which I know and which I grew up with. So it's a very, very simple recipe, and it comes out good every time. So here's the tutorial for the cassava pone that I grew up with. So hey, let's begin by tasting it. It's delicious. The little brown bits there that everyone fights for, oh, it's delicious. Anyway, I'll break this down in the simplest way I know possible, and you to get a good understanding of the system and the recipe, the technique and the recipe. We're not going to cut any corners. You could use your appliances, but first, let me give you the recipe that I'm going to be talking about. We'll use 3 cups of grated cassava. Now, when I say grated cassava, I like to grate the cassava on the very fine side of the hand grater. The hand grater I've seen my mother and my sisters use this. It takes a little while, but it does a great job. So just the very fine side of the hand grater, if you have one of these, right? For the cassava, you cut the cassava. Cassava is a root that comes in a long tube kind of thing. You cut it in smaller pieces and in order to grate it properly. I'm going to leave a link to the recipe that I published just a few days ago. Anyway, so it should be grated on that side, and it comes out really nice and smooth and very fine, and that's what you want. You don't want any large pieces or anything to any large pieces or anything, but it has to be fine. So we grate it on that side grate the cassava on that fine side of the hand grater. Now for the coconut, you can grate the coconut with the hand grater also, but there's a shortcut for that, which I use pretty often. I mean, in the olden days, they just had the hand grater and that's what they used. Since we're going to be using carnation milk in this recipe, I would use my blender, not the food processor, but my blender. And like if I'm going to make coconut milk, kind of, but I use the blender with 1 cup. I use the blender with the coconut and 1 cup of evaporated milk. Put 1 cup of evaporated milk, and you cut the coconut up in smaller pieces, put it in the blender, and blend it for about 2 minutes until it gets nice and smooth and there are no lumps or any hard pieces in there. what you can also do is to peel the, when you get it out of the shell, when you get the coconut out of the shell, because I'm talking about the, you know, the fresh coconut. When you break it, throw the water out, and you dig it out of the shell, that's the coconut I'm talking about, that fresh coconut. And you can peel that brown stuff off if you care to, if you want to. If it's not necessary though. And you blend it with the 1 cup of evaporated milk for about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes until it's nice and smooth and fine, just like the cassava that you grated by hand. So that's, you need 2 cups of that blended coconut, along with the 3 cups, so 3 cups of cassava, of grated cassava, 2 cups of finely blended coconut, and as I said, I blend it with the evaporated milk. And we're going to use 2 cups of evaporated milk. We use 1 with the coconut, and we reserve 1 to add later. 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Melted butter, you can melt it on the stove or melt it in the microwave, but you can need 4 tablespoons of melted butter. 1 cup of condensed milk, and that's going to be part of your sweetener. 1 cup of condensed milk. Depending on how sweet you want it, you may want to use the entire can. It's the 12-ounce can, and you can use 1 cup, which is about 8 ounces. If you want the other 4 ounces, you can just pour it in there if you like it sweet. 1 cup of granulated sugar also. But so again, you can use any sweetener that you want. You don't have to use granulated sugar. You can use monk fruit sweetener, or you can use any other sweetener. And as you add, don't add it all. As you add, you can taste and see how sweet you want your pone to be. The sugar and black pepper. Black pepper is an very essential ingredient in making cassava pone. So I use 1 tablespoon of ground black pepper. Since it's a lot, it distributes pretty well. The tablespoon of black pepper distributes pretty well. And when you're eating it and you get that bite of that black pepper, that flavor, it's wonderful. Also, ginger. I use a tablespoon of grated ginger in there. You have to get that ginger flavor in there also, right? Then I use a tablespoon of nutmeg, right? If you like nutmeg, it would be great. Freshly grated nutmeg. You can use a tablespoon, or you can use 2 teaspoons, depending on how sharp you want your nutmeg, flavor. I used clove powder, ground clove powder, just a teaspoon, because it's a sharp spice, so just a teaspoon. And I used a tablespoon of cinnamon powder. So those are the spices that I mixed into my cassava pone. Now the method. So preheat your oven first of all to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And you combine your ingredients. In with the cassava, you add your blended coconut, that you blended with the milk. You add that in there, give that a stir, give it a good mix in, and have it mixed into the cassava. Then you add the rest of the milk, the second cup of, or the second half of the can of evaporated milk, the second cup of evaporated milk, and your sugar, your melted butter, and all the spices. Just add them all in there, and you give everything mix it thoroughly for about a couple of minutes, or just really mix it thoroughly. And check your taste. You can taste it to see how sweet you want it. And the batter should not be runny, but it should be soft, a very soft batter. But it should not be runny. When you pick it up, it should take a little while to come out, to drop off the spoon. If you pick it up with a spoon and you turn it over. So it should be soft. So you prepare your pan, spray your pan with a non-stick spray, or you can use butter. Spray your pan and prepare it. And once you finish mixing your batter, you pour it into the pan. Pour it into the pan. And as I should have mentioned, reserve a couple tablespoons of butter, which you're going to put on top of the batter before you put it in the oven. So I do it on the lower rack because I want the bottom to get a nice little crust. I would usually use the middle rack, but I do it on the lower rack. So once you have your pan prepared, greased and stuff, and you have your well mixed batter, pour the batter into your pan. I used an 8x8 pan for that, for this amount, but I had some left over. So if you have a 9x9 or use a little bigger pan, and you can bring it up, not up to the edge of the pan. Leave it at least a 1/4 inch, because it's going to be bubbling up in there and stuff like that. You don't want it to go over. So leave about a 1/4 inch, fill it up, but leave about a 1/4 inch of space there. Once you pour that and you level it off, take a spoon and level the top of your batter to make it nice and smooth. You can the extra butter the extra 2 tablespoons of butter, just cut it up in little pieces and place it on top of the batter, on top of the batter in the pan, at strategic points, and that's going to melt and form a nice and give you a nice color on the top. So, and we'll bake this at 375 for an hour and 15 minutes. We're going to do an hour and 15 minutes. And once we do an hour and 15 minutes, we're going to shut the oven off. And we're going to let it sit in the oven for an extra 20 minutes. Just let it sit in the oven for an extra 20 minutes with the oven off. I find that tightens it and dries it out, so you don't have a lot of liquid and oil. So when it comes out and it cools, it's nice and tight. It's nice and tight, and it looks like this when it's done. Awesome. So I was happy to share that with you, and let me know if you try it, and let me know the results that you got, so that we can work on this together. The perfect cassava pone. And we can do it for Emancipation Day. This is a wonderful Afro-Guyanese delicacy. Once again, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you clip, or I'll see you at the next tutorial.